Are you looking for the best rice cookers? In this video we will look at some of the 4 best rice cookers on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Zojirushi NSTSC 10 Rice Cooker. For my whole adult life, I've cooked rice in a pot on the stove. There's something satisfying about honing that skill, but even with age and wisdom, the grains don't turn out right every time. A few months ago, however, I got my hands on this zojirushi to test, and since then, my rice has been evenly tender and fluffy every time. My biggest disclaimer: this appliance is big. But if you have the space, it really does live up to the hype. The settings are displayed on a small screen at the front, and if you're unsure about your water to rice ratio, the brand has this helpful guide. The first time I cooked basmati in it, I did a quick check to make sure I was filling it with the proper amount of liquid. I've also used the included basket to steam greens and, as Carla Lally Music taught me, perfect potatoes. When all is said and done, both the steamer and the inside bowl are a breeze to clean. You pluck them out and any residue rinses right off. But don't just take it from me. In my reporting, zojirushi came up more than any other brand. They have a fancier model with even more settings that multiple experts mentioned. You can read about that one further down on the list, but this one, especially given that it's less than half the price of the other, makes for an all-around great buy. Food writer and recipe developer Kiara Wright Ruiz had to leave hers behind when she recently moved out of the country, and told me it's the thing she misses the most. I'm sure people have said this before, but it really is the Lamborghini of rice cookers, she says. The standout reason is what zojirushi calls fuzzy technology, or a built-in microcomputer that can sense how your rice is cooking and adjust the time and temperature to get a perfect result if need be. There's just no way to mess up rice in it, Wright Ruiz explains. Even if you add too little or too much water, it will self-correct. You get a consistent texture with a margin of error. Another particularly appealing feature is the ability to preset when you want your rice to cook. You can sync it to be done at the same time as other foods, says Wright Ruiz. Like if you're braising something that takes 3 hours, you can time it so that the rice is done right when your braise is done. Or if you want rice in the morning, you can set it before you go to sleep and it will automatically start so you have rice ready to go when you wake up. Finally, though perhaps not the most imperative to the rice itself, zojirushi's machines play music when you start them, an adaptation of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and when they're done cooking, and it's clearly delightful enough that everyone who recommended the brand, again, more on the rest of those folks below, made mention of the jingles. At number 2. Panasonic SRDF101 Rice Cooker. The Panasonic is another simple model, the one that food photographer Neil Santos has also used for a decade, both personally and at his Philly-based Filipino pop-up, Lalo, which unfortunately closed due to the pandemic. I'm not a high-tech kind of person, and this only has a few settings. That's what I grew up with in a Filipino household, he says. It can be on all the time and stay warm. It has a little basket that can steam veggies over the rice. Sometimes I'll use it for other dishes as well. The Philippines has a lot of rice desserts like suman, which is sticky rice wrapped in banana leaf. I put the suman in there and let it stay warm. That's how we used it at the restaurant. We were in a food hall, so everything was small, and this was an efficient way to do things. Reviewers of the Panasonic agree. The keep warm function is so convenient, writes one, and I never end up with burnt rice that's impossible to clean off the pot. In fact, I usually only have to give the pot a quick rinse when I'm done and it's good to go. Another says it's even better than the zojirushi when it comes to that particular setting. It keeps white or brown rice warm and ready to eat for 24 hours, without the rice drying out and becoming too hard and brittle, they write. The 10-cup zojirushi we have will dry out the rice overnight. At number 3. Imuse Electric Non-Stick Rice Cooker. Recipe developer and writer Justine Dwaran loves her rice cooker because of its simplicity and reliability. She first bought it about 8 years ago at Target because it was the cheapest one she could find. Despite the notably low price, the machine has proven to be incredibly durable and has never done me wrong, she says. The Imuse comes with a measuring cup and instructions on how much water to add, depending on what variety of rice you're making. Other than that, it operates with a single cook button and a setting to keep food warm if you want. When a cooking appliance is only meant for one use, you don't need the fanciest model, Tuarin says. At number 4. Pars Automatic Persian Rice Cooker. The Pars Persian rice cooker is built to do something different from all the others on this list: make tadig, the ubiquitous, crispy layer of rice at the bottom and top, when you turn it over, of many preparations of Persian rice dishes. I'm an avid home cook, but rice was always tough for me, and that's part of why for a while I avoided cooking a lot of Persian food, says writer Arya Roshanian, who chronicled his foray into using the Pars for Vox last year. Funny enough, his mom and grandmother both used one, and it was during the pandemic that he finally decided it was time to get one himself. In fact, he has two now, the smaller 4-cup he started out with, and a larger 7-cup he uses to make tadig for a crowd. It's user-friendly, he says, something that my 85-year-old grandma, who only speaks Farsi and isn't that good at technology, can figure out. The first time I used it, I was thinking I would need to try a few times in order to get it right, but it came out pretty perfectly, and then each subsequent time too. Roshanian also likes that the insert is lightweight and non-stick, so it's super easy to flip out and clean.